Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you to today's session in our journey of educational psychology. Today's topic gets to the very heart of successful learning, motivation and engagement. If you have ever had a student who suddenly came alive in the classroom, participating excitedly, asking questions and sharing ideas, or one who slowly withdrew until you hardly heard their voice, you have seen firsthand the power of these two forces, motivation and engagement. Can be the difference between a student blooming with confidence and interest and a student merely surviving, doing just enough to get by. Motivation is that inner drive. Why? That gets a learner started. It's the spark that inspires them to take the first step. Engagement is the how, the level of energy, focus and determination they bring to a task. These two elements constantly feed and reinforce one another. Without motivation, engagement quickly declines. Without engagement, motivation loses its strength and direction. Our challenge as educators is to keep both burning brightly, regardless of the subject, skill level, or individual differences in our classrooms. This means creating lessons that spark curiosity, encourage active participation, and help students see the relevance of what they are learning. So let's start by taking a closer look at what motivation and engagement really mean in the everyday life of our classrooms. Understanding motivation and engagement. Motivation and engagement are essential in shaping the students' learning experiences and success. Motivation is the inner drive that pushes them towards the goal, initiating and sustaining effort. Engagement is the visible expression of this drive, the raised hand and steady eye contact and deep focus on a task. These elements work hand in hand. Motivation fuels engagement and engagement strengthens motivation. Without both, students may struggle to find purpose or interest, affecting their academic performance, well-being, and long-term resilience in the educational setting. Let me give you an example. Imagine two students in your history class. The first is Sarah. She is fascinated by history, not just the dates and names, but the human stories, the struggles, achievements, and the choices that shape the world. She asked thoughtful questions, read beyond the textbooks, and even watches history documentaries in her free time. That's motivation, driving engagement. Then there is Alex. Same class, same teacher, same content. But Alex's attitude? History is boring. He does just enough to pass, avoiding any extra work. His motivation is low and his engagement shows it. Our role is to change Alex's thinking from why bother to tell me more. That's the art and science of teaching. We have seen how motivation and engagement look in real students. But the story does not end there. To truly understand them, we need to explore their two sides, traits and states. Key concepts in motivation, traits and states of motivation. Traits are likely a steady flame, long-term tendencies to work hard, aim high, or stay curious. Some students seem to carry this steady drive into any subject. States are more like sparks, bursts of motivation triggered by specific situations. A student might be indifferent most of the time but light up when the topic connects with their hobby or life experience. Teachers need to nurture both lasting traits and the momentary states to keep students motivated. Fun, inclusive activities spark interest, while long term habits like love for reading or a growth mindset build resilience. Balancing both creates a classroom where motivation thrives for every learner. Picture James, who is generally quiet in class, but when the lesson is about space exploration, his hand shoots up every time. That's a state of motivation triggered by personal interest. Good teaching nurtures both. We build long term traits like resilience and curiosity, while also creating in the moment sparks that make students want to engage right now. We have explored how motivation can be a steady flame or a sudden spark. But there is another piece to the puzzle. How students feel in the moment, their anxiety and arousal can just as powerfully shape their performance. Let's talk about the nerves, a little nervousness before a test or presentation that can actually help. This is explained by Yerkes-Dodson law, which tells us performance is best at moderate arousal. If there is too little arousal, students get bored. If there is too much, they feel panic. Think about Mary, a bright student who freezes during oral presentation. The pressure itches her anxiety so high that she forgets her words. With sport, practicing in smaller group first, learning breathing techniques, she finds her sweet spot, focused but not distressed. And suddenly, her voice comes back. As teachers, our job is to help students find that middle ground. But arousal is not only one part of the picture. Even if a student is calm and focused, something else must spark the desire to engage. That spark is motivation, the reason they choose to start, stick with, and finish a task. To understand it better, we need to look at the two main types, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Some students are driven by pure interest reading because they love it, solving problems because they enjoy the challenge. That's intrinsic motivation. Others are driven by rewards, reading for prize, studying for grades. That's intrinsic motivation. Neither is wrong. In fact, sometimes extrinsic motivation starts the engine. For example, Ben might initially read for a reading star sticker, but along the way, he discovers a genuine love for stories. That's when intrinsic motivation takes over. Our long term goal is always to help students make that shift. The real magic happens when the shift from I have to, I want to takes place. Educators can create a balanced approach by integrating both intrinsic and extrinsic motivators within their teaching strategies. Offering praise points or tokens for participation may initially encourage students to engage in activities while promoting self-reflection and goal setting can gradually cultivate intrinsic motivation. Providing choices in assignments, developing a growth mindset, and linking tasks to students' interests are effective ways to transition from extrinsic to intrinsic motivation. By developing both types of motivation, teachers can create a comprehensive motivational foundation that enhances student learning and satisfaction. When we blend both approaches, we not only spark initial effort but also plant the seed for lasting passion. By blending intrinsic and extrinsic motivators, we can help students start learning with purpose and grow to the love of process. But sparking motivation is only half the story. Emotions and interest are what keep that motivation alive. Emotions and interest are huge players in motivation. Positive emotions like joy and curiosity fuel engagement. Negative ones like boredom or frustration drain it. Think of emotions as the fuel tank. The more positive it is filled, the further students can go. Interest can be personal, like Flora's lifelong love of drawing, or situational spark by something unexpected in the class, like dramatic science experiment. Both type of interest can be powerful, but situational sparks often need to be blown into the lasting flames. A teacher's job is to build lesson that connects with both. If we know Flora loves arts, why not let her illustrate her science project? These personal touches turns abstract lessons into meaningful experiences. It's small adjustment like this that keep the learning fire alive. When students see themselves in their work, learning stops feeling like a routine or starts feeling like a part of who they are. Thank you for your time, attention, and energy today. In this session, we examined motivation and engagement, differentiating traits from states. We explored anxiety's dual role, balancing intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, and how emotions shape learning. Next, we will shift from theory to practice, applying motivation theories to design engaging lessons to increase deeper involvement. Until then, Assalamu alaikum, and remember, every spark you light today can guide a student's journey for years.